Hello and welcome to screencast number 3 for chapter 24, sustainable solutions. And we left off and we were talking about what campuses can do to be sustainable, and I'd like you to be thinking about how can we make Gwinnett sustainable? What would you see as a project that we could do this year in school and present to the administration to help make Gwinnett a sustainable campus? So looking at this, there's green building design, and when we look at a University of Santa Barbara in California, Bren Hall, and we're going to have pictures of this, is going to use solar panels. They have white roofing. White is going to help keep the building cooler, and they built out of recycled materials. There are few toxic substances that are within the building. Say hello to this again. There are few toxic substances that are used, and they make sure that the campus will conserve water, and we're going to really talk about this conservation of water. It is going to be a LEED certified building, and it's going to follow the principles that LEED expects. The movement for green buildings is actually growing. It's going to continue to grow, and I think we're going to see the more green buildings, it's going to drive the prices down for these green buildings. The University of Florida started their construction on 18 green buildings, and they started in 2003, and they've been slowly adding throughout the years. When we think about building or sustainable or green campuses, it's not just limited to the buildings. It's also the landscape, because you want to use native plants that require very little water, that they're adapted to the environment. You're going to use them in a way that is going to prevent erosion. So if you have a slope and you're not sure what you're going to be able to put there, and you know that when it rains, there's gullies and flooding, well, then you're going to want to put some sort of plants that have strong root systems that can hang on in there and help absorb the water so that it reduces the amount of erosion and flooding for that area. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to evaluate the landscape of the campus, and they're going to look at where they can put these native plants. And one of the ideas the girls had last year, and they thought that you might be interested in doing it, is making a rain garden at Gwinnett. And a rain garden is somewhere where you collect the rainwater, and that rainwater is going to supply that garden with the water throughout the year that you don't have to water. So that was one of the ideas for starting a green campus here at GMA. So here you can see that this is some of the colleges that we were talking about, and the Lewis Center in Oberlin. A lot of windows that are there are going to let in light. They also have marshland or wetland around as well. We're going to see in Bren Hall in Santa Barbara, notice that it's light in color and the light roof, and there's solar panels on top of there as well. So conserving water is the key element of sustainable campuses, especially in arid regions. Landscape design can redirect rainwater so that it can nourish the plants and recharge the aquifers. And that's one of the things that we want to really focus on, is making sure that we're recharging those aquifers. And if you're not quite sure what an aquifer is, this is underground areas where our freshwater supply is stored. And we are extracting water from that daily, and we've got to be able to replenish that as well. When you have a landscape that is designed to direct the water, you're going to slow erosion, and you're going to reduce the pollutants it can carry. I don't know if you've ever noticed sometimes on a rainy day if there's ever been any oil or any kind of chemicals that might be on the road, and you see the rainwater going down and it kind of has a rainbow type look in it. That's pollutants. That's pollutants being picked up from the macadam on the road, from whatever's been on there, exhaust, oil, whatever happens to get there, the tar that's in there. And that takes the pollutants to our water supply because it seeps into the ground. It also, we talked about causing erosion. How many times have we seen heavy rains and then there's like little river pathways that go through the yard where we can see the flow of the water? And that's erosion. We also need to make sure that indoor water is conserved. Are we using toilets that are low flow toilets that don't use a lot of water when you flush? The faucets, you'll notice that a lot of our faucets, you put your hands under and they turn on and they turn off after a little bit. That helps to reduce the amount of water that's being used. Shower heads. We can replace shower heads that could be in the in the locker room for the gym, and make sure that they're ones that reduce the amount of water that can come out of the shower. We're going to fill our water bottles with tap water instead of buying water bottles. And that's one of the things that I want you to be really conscious about this year, your purchase of water bottles, because it takes a lot of energy, a lot of fossil fuels in order to produce those water bottles. Plastics take thousands and thousands of years to decompose. Some don't even decompose. Water bottles, we're going to talk about leach, different chemicals, and you've heard of one recently called BPA, which is in some plastic bottles, and they're trying to remove that from a lot of the plastic bottles. There was a law made in 2008 for that. But try to get either a swell or a water bottle that you fill instead of buying bottled water, and reduce that amount. Universities have saved millions of dollars and drastically reduced water use by implementing these things. And there are some campuses where they don't have water bottles. The water comes in cardboard boxes like your milk containers do. So here's another college campus, and they're planting trees, and it's a green landscape that they're putting in to help reduce erosion and to help to hold the water into the ground and creating a green landscape. And this is something that you're familiar with, what we have here at Gwinnett, and this helps to, again, reduce the number of water bottles that are being used. I think I just saw China's got, for some reason, in one area of their ocean, the water bottles just seem to collect because of all the ocean currents. And there's millions and millions of water bottles on the ocean floor in this one area off of the coastline of China. And they're going to be there unless somebody goes in and dives and pulls them up. It's going to take thousands of years for them to break down. Certainly something that we won't see in our lifetime. Well, as energy efficiency moves, we're going to see that it's going to improve in the way that it's made, and it's going to be less expensive in the way that it's made. There have been colleges that have offered competitions to save energy, and these campuses actually cut their energy use, and based on their competitions, they wind up educating themselves more about how to conserve energy. In particular, there were about 185 that participated in the 2013 Campus Conservation Nationals, while others held their own competitions. They didn't actually participate in this particular conservation program, but did something similar. Uh, there were simple measures that have resulted in large energy savings. The students in one school saved $86,000 per year by turning down the hot water temperatures just 5 degrees in the water heaters. Certainly something that you could still take a shower in and feel comfortable in and not like you're freezing. They replaced 35-watt light bulbs with the 25-watt bulbs, and they wound up saving another 50,000 per year, and they prevented 425 tons of carbon dioxide emissions because of this. So is this something that we could do here at Gwinnett? Think about that and your idea of what you want to do. They powered down empty buildings to save energy and money and to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions. In the new chemistry lab, if there's no movement in there, the lights automatically turn off after a certain amount of time. But the lights will detect movement, and as long as there's movement of people in there, the lights will stay on. But if somebody's out of the room and they forget to turn off the lights, after a programmed period of time, they shut out. There's bathroom lights that do the same thing. The minute you open up the door, the bathroom lights turn on. The minute you close the door, the bathroom lights turn off. So is this something that we could do to help cut back our energy cost at Gwinnett? Campuses reduce energy use and emissions by altering their energy source. For example, switching from fuel oil to carbon neutral wood chips. That's one thing. They're no longer reducing the amount of fossil fuels that they use, and they're using carbon neutral wood chips that have been produced in the manufacture of other things, so it's kind of like recycling those wood chips. And the campuses are also looking to use solar and wind power. They're developing turbines that will turn in the wind and be able to power some of the classrooms. They can use these PV systems, and these PV systems are associated with solar energy and solar thermal, and they use the wind turbines to provide emission-free electricity. Some schools, if they have enough turbines and PV solar powered systems, they can even sell, they get extra energy, and they can sell that energy to the energy company, making money that could be used by the school. Okay? Institutions will buy something called green tags, and these are things that help to offset, uh, they offset carbon, and they subsidize renewable energies. Green tags are kind of like, so these green tags are used for campuses that do not generate renewable energy themselves, but they can still invest in the renewable energy by purchasing these green tags or carbon offsets. So what they do is they get the energy that is being produced from other campuses. That's what those green tags are. So this is something else that can be done. Students have voted to increase their fees. They actually tax themselves so that they can buy renewable energy. In 2011, 20 college teams from around the United States competed in the 5th Solar Decathlon, and they built solar houses from the students' designs, and they're hoping to sell those designs and being able to use those designs for solar power across the nation. Okay, we're coming to the end of the screencast, and we will see you in the next one. Have a good one.